Viewers, TMC firebrand leader Mahua Moitra has been expelled from the Lok Sabha. A report prepared by the Ethics Committee of the Lok Sabha concluded that there was ample evidence to suggest that Moitra bent the rules of the House in exchange for benefits. Apart from expulsion, the report also recommends a criminal probe against Moitra. In the end, it is safe to say that Mahua Moitra has been burned at the stake. But desire as she might, she won't be hailed by history as the Joan of Arc of politics. To have earned that sobriquet, Moitra would have had to be seen to have sacrificed herself for higher principles. Opportunism, while a virtue in politics, isn't a high principle in the grander ethical scheme of things. Many say that blinding ambition got the better of Moitra. Burning with a desire to distinguish herself quickly on the political stage, she made one compromise too many. While it is true that the world expects parliamentarians to be compromised, there's a class of ethical transgressions that's a strict no-no in electoral politics. One of them is that a parliamentarian must never breach the trust a voter places in their representative. In a democracy, a parliamentarian is the voice of the people. The voters expect their MP to ask questions on their behalf or raise their concerns in the cradle of democracy, in Parliament, in the hope that life-altering redressal will follow. Viewers, we all know, however, that Moitra is indicted for supposedly accepting cash and gifts from industrialist Darshan Hiranandani in exchange for providing him access to her Parliament login. Those basic conclusions have landed her in trouble. The businessman allegedly used the access to post questions on Moitra's behalf against the Adani Group and its alleged link to the Prime Minister. This issue arguably mattered more to Moitra as it was allegedly furthering her interests than to her voters. Now viewers, let me quickly take you over the clinchers, the alleged clinchers that ensured that Ms. Moitra was expelled by the Lok Sabha. Let me walk you through. The first clincher, she admitted she gave the login credentials to Hiranandani's office. Typing facilities, she said, from Hiranandani's office were used. It was only restricted to that, but this was seen as a lame or a weak excuse. Mr. Hiranandani, on his part, viewers, admitted that he sought a business advantage by planting these questions. Now viewers, as I told you, a parliamentarian must leave no stone unturned in providing advantage to the voter. The voters expect that. That's the least they expect. But here, viewers, because of this alleged transgression, a businessman at the top of the apex of society, privileged, was gaining benefits, a business advantage. Login credentials were operated from Dubai on 47 occasions, when Ms. Moitra wasn't even there, apparently. Login gave access to draft bills not in the public domain, and therefore viewers could have exposed these bills and their contents and policy tweaks to other players who could have also gained an unfair advantage. Remember viewers, a businessman, if he has advanced knowledge of what a bill might do to a particular sector he's operating in, stands to gain. And if he were to trade that information to others, he would gain even more. I'm not saying that happened, but that's a possibility. And therefore, viewers, this was extremely thought to be transgressive. Breach of NIC protocols by grant of login to unvetted individuals. Now, there is talk, viewers, that MPs usually give their login credentials to members of their secretariat. Now, those people are vetted and they are appointed to jobs. Viewers, after the vote led to her expulsion. Moitra came out and called the entire process a Vastraharan, and the committee that was set up to judge her a kangaroo court. Listen in.
This committee and this report has broken every rule in the book. In essence, you are finding me guilty of breaching a code of ethics that does not exist. The committee is punishing me for engaging in a practice that is routine, accepted and encouraged in the House. Tomorrow the CBI will be sent to my house. I'm sure they will harass me for the next 6 months. But I would like to ask, what about the 13,000 crore coal scam of Mr. Adani that the CBI and the ED have not found place to look at? You tell me I have compromised national security with a login portal? Mr. Adani is buying all our ports, all our airports, and his shareholders are foreign professional investors, and the Ministry of Home Affairs is giving them clearance to buy all our infrastructure. Punjab, Sindh, Gujarat, Maratha, Dravida, Utkala, Bongo. You don't have the Punjab. Sindh is not ours. Dravid is not yours. Utkal is not yours. Bongo is not yours. Where do you think you're going to rule us? Where do you think you get this brute majority from? The Ethics Committee has no power to expel. You have assumed the powers of a quasi-judicial authority and imposed a penalty on me that you have no power to do. You have disregarded due process, proportionality and abused every tenet. This is the beginning of your end. जब नाश मनुष्य पर छाता है तो पहले विवेक मर जाता है. We're going to come back and we're going to see the end of you.
Well, this is not the first time, of course, that Mahua Moitra has railed against the process. If you remember, viewers, when she was questioned or when she was summoned, she walked out of that meeting and said that unfortunate, probing questions, unbecoming the dignity of the committee, were asked of her that violated also her standing as a woman. But clearly, her demonstration hasn't had the desired impact. The committee has recommended stringent action. Here are some of the damning recommendations. The committee said that she must be expelled from the 17th Lok Sabha. There's already a debate on whether the committee has the power to recommend punishment. The finding is that she indulged in highly objectionable, unethical, heinous and criminal conduct. The recommendation was time-bound institutional probe by the Government of India. The reason this recommendation was made is because of the finding of unethical conduct by allegedly accepting cash, kind and facilities. Viewers. Another recommendation was for a time-bound government probe into quid pro quo charges. Again, based on the allegedly unethical conduct by accepting cash, kind and facilities. Viewers, these are serious charges, and let me tell you that criminal proceedings will perhaps be initiated now against Mahua Moitra. That could start and snowball into perhaps even her arrest, depending on how firm the evidence is. Now the opposition, as you saw, viewers, in those pictures in the center of your screens, is standing behind Mahua resolutely. Here are some reasons the opposition is pushing for why they have decided to stand with her. First and foremost, they claim that no time was given to Mahua Moitra to defend herself. Inadequate time to read 500-page report to frame a defense. The complainants have not been cross-examined. Now remember, there were two complainants. One is a BJP MP who was acting at really the complaint of Mahua Moitra's, in her words, jilted ex, unquote, a lawyer. The ethics panel, the opposition claims, has no power under Rule 316D to recommend expulsion. It says that the BJP's decision to issue a whip ahead of vote a travesty of justice because it denies parliamentarians the right to apply their own conscience and take a call on a fellow parliamentarian's future in the House. The opposition also says that Article 1052 shields MPs from prosecution on bribery charges or any speech or vote in Parliament. This has been used in the past, but in one particular case, viewers, the JMM bribery case, if you remember, this was waved aside. Now let us get to our big debate. As the India bloc backs Mahua, is it putting the interests of a political grouping above the Desh or nation? Fundamental question, and it goes out to two individuals, viewers. Viewers, this is of course an ongoing story, and we are going to now speak to two individuals who were on this ethics panel. One is a Congress Member of Parliament, Mr. V. Vaithalingam, and the other one is Aparajita Sarangi, who was also today speaking in the House. She is, of course, an MP from the Bharatiya Janata Party. Mr. Vaithalingam, thank you. And also, Ms. Sarangi, thank you for speaking to CNN News 18. I want to begin by asking, why is the Congress party standing with Mahua Moitra, even though A, she doesn't belong to your party, and B, she has been indicted by a report formulated after deliberations for having betrayed the national interest, sir?
Do I need to speak?
No, Mr. Vaithalingam, you go first. Why is the Congress party standing with Mahua Moitra?
Actually, you can see the new parliament wanted to start a women reservation bill. The Honorable Prime Minister giving the assurance for the women folk for 1/3 of the reservation for the women folk in the parliamentary system and the assembly system also. That is, they are giving the Nari Shakti. So, at the same time, they want to curtail the Nari Shakti by disqualifying or removing from the parliament Mahua Moitra. That is a main issue. And another thing, we are totally for injustice, those who are having that. If any injustice taken place, we are raising our voice. This is a Congress culture. That is why we are supporting her.
Ms. Sarangi, how do you respond to this? How do you respond to this? Nari Shakti is being curbed and curtailed by your government, says Mr. Vaithalingam, and also there is an injustice being perpetrated. He's making it more rhetorical. What are the facts with which you can counter him?
See, let's refrain from making the entire issue political. There is no politics around it. Now also, let us not talk in terms of man or woman. She was a parliamentarian. She was a member of the Lok Sabha as I am. I am a woman. I am also a parliamentarian. As a parliamentarian, I am supposed to go by the parliamentary procedures. There has to be a conduct which is ethical. And you know, I cannot behave in a manner which is unbecoming of a parliamentarian. So she has demonstrated unethical conduct. She went against the parliamentary procedures, and therefore this kind of situation happened. Now I am a member of the Parliamentary Standing Committee, and so is my friend from the Congress who is with us today. Now there were 3 sittings. The complainants had been invited. The complainants were heard at length, Mr. Dehadrai and Mr. Nishikant Dubeji, and thereafter Madam Mahua Moitra had been invited. She was given opportunity of being heard. In fact, for full 1 hour she spoke about her personal life. And it was our responsibility as a member of the committee or members of the committee to hear her out. And we did so with tremendous patience. And the chairman also kept on asking questions. She refused to answer many of the questions. I must say with all conviction at my command that all the questions pertain to the content of the affidavit which was sworn. A sworn affidavit, sworn before the Deputy Consulate General in Dubai. Now here, she was so much, she suddenly grew angry, she was fuming and fretting, and she staged a walkout using unparliamentary words for the chairman of the committee. I think that particular day, if she would have stayed back, if she would have stated her things in a cool manner, whatever she wanted to say would have been registered properly. She had no patience to do that. And thereafter, we went through the affidavit and we submitted our report. And today, I must say, Honorable Speaker, following due procedure, allowed everyone to put forth his or her viewpoints. And that is why, ultimately at the end, two members of the committee, Girdhari Yadav ji and I, was asked to speak, and we spoke out our mind. And I think the law has to take its course. Whatever was wrong, which is unethical is unethical. And let me say, whosoever is standing by Mahua Moitra ji today is not actually supporting her. They are demonstrating their own unethical conduct. They are standing by what is unethical.
Okay, Mr. Vaithalingam, let me ask you this. This is a factual question. You're a member of parliament from the Congress. Your own fellow colleague, member of parliament, Praneet Kaur, she also came out and voted against Miss Mahua Moitra. Now,
actually,
that is why this report was adopted by the narrowest margin. Now, why would she have done this if this was about perhaps denigrating women?
Actually, I want to explain in such a way. On the day, the last day of the proceedings, when the voting is taken place, before that, the chairman tell us that after the inquiry is over, after the investigation is over, then we can sit together and discuss about all the points, then we can take a final decision. But unfortunately, chairman is not hearing us. Even the Mahua Moitra case, we are not allowed to question the Mahua Moitra. Chairman only asking all the questions. So 1 hour time, only chairman is taking the full time. We are not allowed. Even Sarangi also not allowed. So no member raising their questions against the Mahua Moitra. That is the situation is taken place. Even the last day, before, when the chairman is initially give a promise that after the proceedings is over, then we can sit with all the members, then we can finalize our report. But unfortunately, it is not taken place. When the last day meeting, it is only 2 minutes. When the chairman is entered in the house room and started with the proceedings, they put up a resolution and voted for it. They are not listening our voice.
Okay,
that is the major question. Why they are
rushing? So you're saying due procedure was not followed?
One point. One point. Another point, that Pritam Gaur, how she is behaving. Even she is not a Congress member. Even though technically he belongs to Congress party, already he is reviving because of local conditions. When I asked her, so much of pressure on me, what I can do? That is, what is the pressure? You can only ask the lady. Then only she can explain what is the pressure. So actually the member is voted because of pressure. And another one I want to explain. Even it is equal. The chairman says, chairman having 2 votes. One as a member and chairman have the another member. So one member having the 2 votes. So what is the meaning?
No, but Mr. Vaithalingam, I don't understand this. You are now claiming that Praneet Kaur was under pressure. Why didn't you come out with this earlier? No, why didn't you come out with this earlier?
Already I told. Actually on the day, the last day of the meeting, I explained she is under the pressure.
This is the first time I am hearing this. Aparajita Sarangi, let me ask you. The charge that is being made by Mr. Vaithalingam is that Mahua Moitra was denied, and this is the basis of jurisprudence, was denied an opportunity to clear her own name, to testify. And neither were the complainants cross-examined.
See, there were 3 sittings, as I said. In fact, 1 full sitting was devoted to listening to Mahua Moitra ji. I must say this. And we gave her the opportunity of being heard. She spoke for 1 hour initially about herself, about her life, which was good. And we noted down all the points. And thereafter, when the questions were asked pertaining to the content of the affidavit, she lost her cool. And she was so impatient that she decided not to stay within the walls of the room in which all of us were sitting. So she staged a walkout and she used unparliamentary words for the chairman of the committee. Now again there was unethical conduct, not becoming of a parliamentarian. Whatever she did was unbecoming of a parliamentarian. So we cannot support something which is unethical, which is unparliamentary in nature, and that is what we had been harping on all through. And the committee went for voting 3 times, I must say this, 3 times. And every time the majority in fact did not support her, when the majority went against her. So I think everything was looked into, the procedures were followed, all people were heard, the affidavit was gone through, the sworn affidavit was read, and then thereafter the reports were sent and the report was debated upon in the Lok Sabha today, and then the Lok Sabha decided to expel Mahua Moitra for the rest of the term. That's it.
Okay, very quickly, Mr. Vaithalingam, it's funny that you should say that this was a bit of a witch hunt, because you see, Mahua Moitra has accepted that she shared her login with a businessman. She doesn't deny that he framed questions on her behalf on her portal. And 3, that she also,
please, sir, please.
That she also,
I want to clarify.
Yeah, you want to
clarify. She is not sharing the ID for the businessman. She is using their office to put a questions. And there is no bar.
But Mr. Vaithalingam,
no rules in the
you can't give your ID to a third party who is not part of either your secretariat. And if she was using his office, excuse me, sir, how is it that when her login was used, she was nowhere near the vicinity of that location? She was in another continent.
You can
not
see,
once, but several times.
You can see when you log in, there is a password is there, OTP is there. When the OTP is given by the concerned party, it is agreed that she is putting a question, not other person is putting their question. That is the basic
sir,
question.
Small correction,
Mr.
Mr. Vaithalingam. Small correction. I just want to say that the report
I will
submitted
explain the situation.
Okay, please, go ahead.
You say, I can explain the case, then you can put a question. Instead of sharing the ID and password, that is a different. It is using their office to put a questions. Using the office is totally different. And sharing the ID and password is totally different. Because you can see, if I give a password and user ID and password to somebody, they are putting their own question is totally different. It is the fault. If I share my details and put a questions on my willingness, it is okay.
I don't know, sir. I have never heard of this arrangement. I have never heard of somebody accepting gifts and then that person. So even you are agreeing that happened. Okay, one second. Aprijita Sarangi, let me throw this back at you. This is an important point. Mahua Moitra hasn't really denied any of the charges. She has also flaunted some of the gifts that she got from this businessman, apparently before all of you in that committee hearing. She's also brought them to Parliament, etc., and said, what is wrong? I'm a woman of means. What difference does it make? How do you make this correlation? Mr. Vaithalingam is saying, look, she was just using the office premises. A quick response to that.
So I can only say that we have examined the matter and we have suggested a couple of things to the Lok Sabha, which all the proposals were accepted. One, of course, was the expulsion, and number 2 was the cash trail, the money trail, the exchange of gifts, etc., should be looked into by an appropriate agency to be decided by the central government. So I think the government of India would decide upon the investigating agency and they would actually look into the trail of money. So I think I am not the person to comment on that. As a member of the committee, as a colleague of hers, I should not be commenting on that. Let the investigative agency decide and let the investigative agency submit its findings before the government of India.
So this is going to get more trying and difficult for Mahua Moitra. What we are being told now, viewers, is that this particular report recommends that a probe should be conducted to determine criminality. And if that does somehow materialize, this is going to end up in criminal charges. This could get mighty serious